Self-transformation shows how to become your best version. Have you ever wondered why some people manage to change their entire lives while others stay stuck in the same pattern for years? If you've asked yourself what real self-transformation looks like, you are not alone. Every day, more people search for ways to change not just their routine, but their identity. And maybe you feel the pull too. You want to know how people go from who they are today to who they hope to become. You want to know what actually works, what science supports, and how long it takes. And you want to know how to start without feeling overwhelmed. This video will show you the core steps that real change is built on. You'll see why your story shapes your future, how small shifts turn into major growth, and why your mind often changes before your life does. And somewhere in this, you might find that that version of you you've been searching for has been waiting to be built, one choice at a time. The first step is understanding what transformation really is. Many people confuse upgrade with reinvention. A new job, a new look, a new routine, or a new relationship can feel like change, but true transformation runs deeper. It reaches the level of identity. It changes the way you think, act, respond, and choose. This is why psychologists talk about something called narrative identity. It's the inner story you tell about who you are, what matters to you, and where your life is heading. Your story may include some truths, but it can also carry old beliefs, fears, or limits that no longer fit your future. When you begin a real personal growth journey, you aren't just fixing pieces of your life. You are rewriting your story in a way that makes you the main character again. And once your story shifts, your mindset shifts with it. This is why some people feel a sudden sense of clarity after facing a hard truth. Their story changed, so their life direction changed too. But knowing this isn't enough. You need something practical. You need evidence of what works. That leads you to the next step. Habits. Small habits, to be exact. Most people aim for huge change fast. They overhaul their diet, join a gym, wake up early, start journaling, plan meditation sessions, and try to control every minute of their day. It looks impressive. It feels powerful, but it rarely lasts longer than a few weeks. Science points to something different. Change grows best when it starts small, even tiny. Something as simple as drinking water when you wake up, or taking a 2-minute walk after each meal can create a shift. These are seeds of change. Psychologists call some of these seeds keystone habits because they don't just add value, they unlock more value. A short morning stretch can improve focus. A 2-minute tidying session can lower stress. A short reading habit can raise motivation. A small change creates momentum, and momentum creates consistency. This matters because your brain is wired to protect your current identity. If you try to change everything too fast, your mind pushes back. But when you begin with micro habits, your brain accepts them without fear. Over time, these micro changes become proof. Proof that you follow through, proof that you can change, proof that you're becoming someone new. This is the point where most people run into their first roadblock. They start wondering, how long until this feels normal? How long until it sticks? For years, people believed it took 21 days to build a habit, but recent research gives a clearer number. A study with thousands of participants found habits take about 59 to 66 days to stick for most people. More complex habits may take 3 to 5 months. That means transformation requires patience. It's not slow, it's strategic. Now think about that for a moment. 60 days of effort can change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. That's not a long time when you compare it to how long you've lived in your current patterns. This is why the people who transform aren't the ones who push the hardest on day one. They're the ones who stay consistent even when the progress feels invisible. But habits alone don't build a new identity. The next shift happens in your mind. Real transformation asks you to challenge your old thoughts. If your mind keeps telling you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, or not ready, then your actions will mirror those thoughts. So psychologists use a method called cognitive restructuring. It's simple. You take a negative thought, question it, and replace it with a more accurate one. Not a fake positive line, a grounded truth. Something like, I've failed before, but I'm learning. Or, I'm nervous, but I can try. These small shifts change the way you feel about yourself. And when your feelings change, your choices change. Once you stop fighting your own thoughts, you free up energy to build the habits that shape the new you. And soon you'll feel something powerful, momentum. But momentum doesn't last without meaning. This is where the emotional center of transformation appears. A transformation built only on goals will fall apart when you lose motivation. But a transformation built on values lasts through stress, doubt, and fear. So take time to ask yourself, what matters to me? What kind of person do I want to be? What behaviors match that kind of person? When your values guide your choices, change feels rewarding instead of forced. This is where journaling becomes useful, not the long poetic kind. Short, clear entries. One line about what you did well today. One line about what you learned. One line about the person you are becoming. It creates a trail of evidence that you are changing. And when you look back, you'll see growth that you didn't notice while living it. But even with values, you will face resistance. Transformation impacts your routines, relationships, beliefs, and comfort zones. Stress will hit you. Doubt will hit you. You might fall into old patterns again. That doesn't mean you failed. It's part of the process. The people who stay steady use a simple tool called implementation intentions. It's a plan built with if-then actions. If I feel tired, then I take a 5-minute break. If I feel stressed, then I take 10 deep breaths. If I skip a habit, then I restart it at the next possible moment. It shuts down emotional chaos and replaces it with clarity. This also strengthens emotional intelligence. You learn to understand your feelings without running from them. You learn to respond, not react. That is why emotional intelligence is one of the strongest predictors of long-term growth. It stabilizes your mind during change. It keeps you moving when other people quit. And now you reach the turning point most people never talk about. After months of micro habits, mindset shifts, and steady values, something subtle happens. The new you stops feeling new. You stop trying to change your life, and you start living the change. Your actions begin to match your identity. Your confidence grows. You trust yourself more. You notice how different your reactions are. You notice how you handle stress with more clarity and calm. Your life may look similar on the outside, but on the inside, you feel stronger, wiser, and more grounded. This is where the deeper layers of inner development show up, not in dramatic wins, not in perfect habits, but in the quiet moments. When you choose the better version of yourself without even thinking about it, that is transformation. Not a moment, a process, a steady rise. And when you look back, you might realize something unexpected. The process changed you more than the results ever could. You'll see how far you've come and how much more you can create. You'll see the old version of you not as a failure, but as a starting point. And you'll see the future version of you not as a dream, but as a direction. Because once you start building your best self, you never stop. And that brings you to the final question, the one this whole journey points toward. You spent years becoming who others expected you to be. Now ask yourself, who will you become if you choose to build a life that reflects who you truly want to be?